1 month before the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan, Laila Edwards called her parents from her dorm at the University of Wisconsin. She told them she had made the team. That she was going to the Olympics. That she was going to represent the United States of America on the biggest stage in the world. And her parents, Sharon and Robert Edwards, celebrated. And then they started doing math. They could only afford to send 2 people to Italy. Just 2. A family who had been at every game, every tournament, every practice, every milestone since Laila first put on skates was going to be represented by 2 people in the stands at the Olympics. Not because they did not want to be there. Because international travel is expensive. Because hockey has always been an expensive sport to support from the outside. Because this family from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, had given everything they had for years to make sure their daughter could do what she was doing. And the bill had come due at the worst possible moment. So Laila's father did something that took real humility. He started a GoFundMe. He set a goal of $50,000. He called it "Send Laila's Family to the Olympics" to cheer her on. And he said later that he had to tell himself pride be damned because his daughter was going to need somebody there and he was going to make sure somebody was there. What happened next is the story the internet knows but nobody has fully told from beginning to end. First, let us talk about who Laila Edwards actually is. Because the Kelce story is extraordinary, but it only means what it means because of what Laila has already built. She is 22 years old. She is 6 feet and 1 inch tall. She plays defense for the University of Wisconsin, where she has won 2 consecutive NCAA national championships. She is described by scouts and coaches as the future face of women's hockey in America. She is expected to be one of the top picks in the Professional Women's Hockey League draft later this year. She is also the first Black woman in history to play for the United States Olympic women's hockey team. Let that land properly. The United States women's hockey program has existed since the 1990s. They have won multiple Olympic medals. They have produced legendary players. And in all of that history, across decades of international competition, Laila Edwards is the first Black woman to put on that jersey at the Olympics. She is only the second Black player on any United States Olympic hockey team at all, men or women, following Jordan Greenway, who played in 2018. She grew up without role models in hockey who looked like her. In a sport that remains overwhelmingly white at every level, from youth hockey to the NHL to the Olympic program, Laila Edwards played and competed and excelled without ever having the thing that most elite athletes take for granted. Someone who looks like me has done this before. She found her inspiration instead from a fellow Ohio native named LeBron James. And now she is that inspiration for an entirely new generation of kids who might look at hockey differently because they saw her in Milan. Her mother said it perfectly after the GoFundMe went viral. She said she loved hearing people of color talking about never having watched hockey before and now tuning in. She said she would love to know what the ratings were. Because representation does not just matter for the person breaking the barrier. It matters for everyone watching who needed to see the barrier broken before they could imagine themselves on the other side of it. Now let us go back to the GoFundMe. Because the way it unfolded is one of the most beautiful sequences of events in recent sports history. Robert Edwards set the goal at $50,000. The donations started coming in. $5 here. $25 there. Strangers who had read about Laila's story online, who had seen the headlines about the first Black woman to make the U.S. Olympic hockey team, who wanted to be part of something. The community showing up in the specific and practical and unglamorous way that communities actually show up when it matters. And then the Kelces. Travis and Jason Kelce grew up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. The same Cleveland Heights that produced Laila Edwards. They are the most famous people that town has ever sent into the world, 2 NFL brothers who together have won 4 Super Bowls and 15 All-Pro selections and co-host one of the most popular sports podcasts in America. They had been following Laila's story since 2023 when she became the first Black player on the senior national team, and they shouted her out on their New Heights podcast. When the GoFundMe appeared, they did not hesitate. they donated $10,000. Anonymously. The largest single donation in the entire campaign. Laila confirmed afterward that it came from them. Travis also reached out personally to her with advice and encouragement before the games. He told her everyone had her back. That he was rooting for her. He did not have to do that. But he did. Jason Kelce and his wife Kylie flew to Milan themselves. They were in the stands on Monday night for the semi-final win over Sweden. Cheering. Representing Cleveland Heights in the arena where their hometown's newest champion was making history. By the time the gold medal game arrived, the GoFundMe had raised more than $61,000, beating the goal by over $11,000. 14 family members and friends made the trip. Her parents. Her 91-year-old grandmother Ernestine Gray. Her aunt, cousin, and older brother. Others who paid their own way. A whole community that had been cheering for her since before the world knew her name, finally in the building. Here is the detail that makes this story land in a completely different way from any simple feel-good GoFundMe narrative. Laila has a ritual before every game she plays. A pre-game ritual. She skates onto the ice, and she looks up into the stands. She finds her grandmother. They make eye contact. Her grandmother waves. And then Laila is ready. Her grandmother Ernestine Gray is 91 years old. She described the moment to the Associated Press in Milan. She said as Laila comes in she is looking around, and she told herself she will not do anything to distract her. And then Laila did see her and she waved and her grandmother waved back. That wave happened at the Olympics because $61,000 worth of human kindness made it possible. Because a father said pride be damned and started a GoFundMe. Because two brothers from the same town remembered where they came from. Because strangers donated $5 because they believed in something. And then Laila Edwards went out and helped Team USA beat Canada 2-1 in overtime to win the gold medal. The gold medal game itself was exactly what you would write if you were writing a movie. The United States and Canada facing each other for the gold. The two greatest women's hockey programs in the history of the sport. Tied 1-1 going into overtime. And in overtime, Megan Keller deked a defender and slid the puck past the Canadian goalkeeper to win it for the United States. Laila Edwards had an assist in the semi-final. She had an assist on the first equalizing goal in the gold medal game. The tallest player on the team, the one who proposed moving herself from forward to defense in 2024 because she understood her body gave her shutdown capabilities the team needed, was doing exactly what she promised her coach she would do when she made the position switch. And when the final horn sounded and Team USA had gold, and the ice filled with celebrating players and staff and eventually family members, the Edwards family was there. All 14 of them. Her grandmother was there. The woman who waves from the stands before every game was there to watch her granddaughter win the biggest game of her life. There is one more layer to this story that most coverage has skimmed past. And it is the most important one for understanding who Laila Edwards actually is. She is expected to be a top pick in the Professional Women's Hockey League draft later this year. Her career is just beginning. The NHL has been publicly committed to growing the sport among demographics it has historically failed to reach, and Laila Edwards is the most powerful proof of concept the sport has produced in a generation. A 22-year-old from Cleveland Heights who grew up without role models who looked like her in hockey, who made it anyway through talent and family and the specific stubborn belief that the sport was for her even when the sport had not always acted that way. She has said she wants to be that figure for the next generation. The one she did not have. The player that a kid who never watched hockey turns on because they saw someone on the ice who looked like them and thought maybe this is for me after all. Her mother said it best. People are cheering her on and telling her they are going to watch hockey now because of her. That is not a sports story. That is a culture story. A story about what happens when one person breaks through a barrier that should have been broken a long time ago. And the wave it sends through every kid who sees it and decides to pick up a stick. Her grandmother waved from the stands in Milan. Laila waved back. And then she went and won a gold medal. That is the whole story. Right there in that wave.